go back home, back to Krishna. That is Golok Vrindavan. Our goal is not to come back into this material world again, because this material world is known as Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. Dukhalayam means a place of misery and anxiety. And why is this place considered a place of misery and anxiety? Because Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. Ashashvatam means nothing is permanent in this world. And the problem is, because nothing is permanent in this world, we unfortunately think that everything will last forever. And unnecessarily we become attached. We become attached to house. We could become attached to our properties. Very often we naturally become attached to our children. And that happens also. But the wise man, the devotee of the Lord, understands that everything that is within our possession is not in our control. This is an important point. There's a difference between having something in possession and having control over it. You could be possessing a house, but ultimately whether you control what happens in the house is it has very little bearing on who you are. The truth of the matter is, we can never control birth, we can never control death, we can never control old age, and we cannot control disease. These four items, despite all our technological advancement, we have not been able to actually get past them. We can't control them. So therefore, Bhagavatam tells us that it's very important to have a sense of perspective. When we come together for these programs, it is not because we want the programs to be auspicious. In Bhagavatam and Sastras, auspiciousness is material in nature. Because what is auspicious in one culture may be inauspicious in another culture. What is auspicious for you may not be auspicious for me. And the problem with material auspiciousness is that you will come back again to this material world. And you will go through the cycle of birth and death again. So the wise person does not live their life in such a way that they want to come back into this samsara chakra. That is not something we want. That's why this particular point that Yamaraj brings up is very important. Yamaraj says, bring four kinds of people to me. The first persons are those persons who will not even once use their tongues to chant the holy names of the Lord. Which is why it's very important that we use our tongue to chant Krishna's names. You know, in this material world, we use our tongue for so much of speech. We all talk to each other, so many topics are discussed. But when it comes to Krishna, we become very conservative. So therefore, my humble request to all of you is, please chant. I'm going to chant, and the moment I stop chanting, everybody else should chant. Don't worry whether you can sing well, you can't sing well. I have a bad sore throat. I'm not even sure how I'm going to sing. But the important thing is, are we singing with our heart? That is the key. And if you don't sing and don't chant, you'll find that your mind is running all over the place. Right? Just now a child was crying, and I could see how distracted we were. It was so difficult for us to concentrate, but it's got nothing to do with the child. It's the lack of control of our mind. There will always be distractions. That will never end. Just like, if you sit by the beach, for example, you cannot wait for the waves to stop before we continue. The waves will continue. You have to go in. So everyone settle down. Okay? Be peaceful. And now we chant Krishna's names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Your turn.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
You're very soft. I can only hear the men. I don't hear the ladies at all. And ladies, you have much louder voices actually. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. No, you don't sing now. You don't sing now. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You hear? Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now you sing. And remember Krishna as you sing. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bol. You're very soft, Prabhus. All of you, you're really soft. Yes. Hari Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bol. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Hari. Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nittai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaur Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki Jai. Thank you so much for singing. It was so nice to hear all the devotees actually singing. It makes such a difference when we come together actually. When we come to a new house, this is a very nice way to receive Krishna, to welcome Krishna. That is why we come together in such places. And the reason why we come together is because if you don't put Krishna in the center, then our Shastras tell us that whatever we have, it doesn't have value. In Bhagavatam, there's a nice shloka. Rite ritam yat pratyeta, na pratyeta chatni. Tad vidvan atmano mayam, yatha baso, yatha tamaha. What this means is that anything that appears to be valuable, anything that appears to be valuable, if it is not related to Krishna, it becomes very difficult. This is a very important thing. Now, I want to know one thing. Where are the children going to be? Because this movement up and down is going to be very difficult to discuss anything on Krishna. Parents, you have to decide, or the host has to decide whether you have a room for them, keep them in the room, or they will keep moving up and down.
We want them to sit here.
If they sit here, then they have to sit here. Right? They can't be moving up and down. It becomes difficult. Otherwise, what's happening is I keep seeing them moving up and down, and devotees become distracted. So children, you have to sit down and not move for a while. 15 minutes. Can you give me 15 minutes? I'll have to make my program shorter because of the children. In our programs, very often the children sit down because they hear what they want to hear. And we are here to hear about Krishna. So I expect all the children not to move up and down this path, especially here. Nobody moves here. Once you are seated here, you sit here. And the children seated there will be seated there. Until we finish the program, no transmigration. Okay? Let's keep it that way. And I hope the adults will also do the same thing and not keep moving, right? I'm talking about the children, but the adults, okay, Mataji, good. At least, you know your child best, so you bring her where she is good. In Bhagavatam, there is a nice episode in Krishna's Leela that tells us about how merciful Krishna is to his devotees. You all must have heard of the pastime where Krishna is a little boy and he's tied to the mota. And when he's tied to the mota, because he was very naughty, Mother Yashoda thought that by tying him, he would be still. But you all know that after Mother Yashoda went back to her duties, Krishna decided that he will start moving. This is a very important principle. Sometimes we think that we can control what Krishna is and who he is, and we can ask him for what we want, and he should give us what we desire. But Shastras tell us that that is not our relationship with Krishna. Our relationship with Krishna should be what we call unconditional. It is very close to the relationship that mothers and fathers have with your children. You know, it's so important when our children are growing up that whether they are success or they are failures, we should not love them because they are successful. And we should not condemn them if they fail. We may check them, we may correct them, we may improve them. But our love for them should not be conditional on whether they become successful people or not. Our love for them is a love of a parent to a child. Whatever the child may be, I am still your parent. Whatever you do at the end of the day, I will be the parent. That is the meaning of unconditional love. Many children grow up with this idea that my mother will only love me or my father will only love me if I do well, if I'm succeeding. That is conditional love. In the spiritual world, our love for Krishna is very often conditional. We pray to Krishna for something, and very often it's material. And when we get it, we're very happy with Krishna. Then we invite Krishna, then we invoke Krishna, then we remember Krishna. But very often in life, you will realize that the things you want, you don't always get. If everybody could get everything they wanted in life, my God, we'll all be success stories, isn't it? But the truth is we don't. Imagine every student, every time you go to school, you study, and your desire is to ace the exam, and you get it. Everybody's studying hard, but not everyone gets it. Sometimes we work so hard for a project, adults. You know, sometimes we fail, sometimes we win. So, the point you must understand here is that effort and work is in our hands. Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter. He says you are entitled to work, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your action. The fruits of the action are not entirely in your control. If you could control that, then you'll be able to control everything that happens to you in your life. We can't even control our blood pressure, for God's sakes. And we think we can control when we will be born, when we will die. So there are some things that we can control, but not everything that we can control. And even the things that we can control requires the sanction, ultimately, of the Lord. That's very important. You know, in the Mahabharata, there is one episode where Gandhari decided that she will make Duryodhana very, very powerful. She'll make him battle-proof. So she told him, Duryodhana, after the battle is over, in the night, come and see me. But when you come and see me, don't have any clothes on, because I will take off the blindfold that I have, and with the tejas that I have accumulated, I will then make your body so fortified that you cannot be killed. So Duryodhana said, all right, mother. Now Gandhari is known in Mahabharata as a very chaste and very powerful personality. She actually, without even a second thought, when she realized that Dhritarashtra, her husband-to-be, was blind, without hesitation, she also decided that I should be blind. It requires a great personality to do that. Very great personality. And so Gandhari was very powerful, and she knew the accumulation of her siddhi would help her son. She wanted her son to win the war. Dhritarashtra wanted Duryodhana to win the war. The Kuru dynasty, the Kauravas, wanted them to win the war. But that was not Krishna's desire. Krishna's desire was that the Pandavas should win the war, because the Pandavas were devotees. They would bring dharma to the kingdom. If the kingdom was under Duryodhana, it would be completely adharmic. So there you have Gandhari exerting control over a situation. And she engineers the situation in such a way that she tells her son to come in the middle of the night without any clothes, unseen by anyone. And so that night Duryodhana waits for everyone to go to sleep. And then he wakes up and he walks without clothes. He's just a few hundred meters away from his mother's tentage. When he turns the corner, of all people in the world to see, he sees Krishna. Krishna's taking an evening walk. And when Krishna sees Duryodhana, the first thing Krishna asks Duryodhana is, Duryodhana, why are you walking around like a madman with no clothes? Normally people wear clothes and walk around. You're not a child. And Duryodhana suddenly comes to his senses and realizes what an awkward situation it is. So he tells Krishna very innocently, he says, actually I'm going to see my mother. He doesn't say why. He says, I'm going to see my mother. So Krishna smiles. And Krishna says, that's even more ridiculous, isn't it? Which grown-up man goes to see his mother without any clothes on? Put on at least a gamcha and go and see your mother. Now Duryodhana doesn't want to tell what is the reason why he's going to see his mother. So he thought, I'll just say yes to Krishna. Have you been in such situations? People tell you to do something, you just decide, okay, let me just say yes to them. And then I'll go and do what I want. So Duryodhana was thinking that way. I'll just put on the gamcha now just to satisfy Krishna. Don't arouse his suspicion. And then I'll go and see Gandhari. But when I'm about to see her, Duryodhana says, I will remember to take out my gamcha. So remembrance is something we all have, isn't it? So he thought, I'll remember. Have you been in situations where you decided, okay, as I'm coming back from work, I'm going to buy something. And you tell yourself, I'll buy it. And then you turn up at home without something you're supposed to buy. It happens to men a lot, especially when our wives tell us to, on the way back, buy something. And then we're very happy, yes, I remember. And then you come back with, for somehow or another, you forgot. It has happened many times to us. Sometimes we tell ourselves, today I'm going to run that errand. Somehow the day passes and you forget. And yet you had the power of remembrance. It's happened to us very often. So Duryodhana told himself, I have very good remembrance. I'll take it off at the right time. So he walks away from Krishna, he puts on a gamcha. Now he enters the room of his mother. Gandhari says, are you ready? He says, I'm ready. And Gandhari takes off the blindfold and she starts fortifying the body of Duryodhana. But to her surprise and her anger, she finds that the lower half of his body is covered. Because Duryodhana's remembrance is not his to control. He forgets. Right at the point when he's supposed to remember. And then Gandhari does everything and she says, why did you disobey my instructions? And Duryodhana said, actually, I did not disobey it. I was walking to you without any clothes on. But then I saw Krishna. And the moment Gandhari heard that Krishna was involved in that, in Mahabharata, this is a very important part of Mahabharata. At that point of time, Gandhari realizes something very important. She realizes that I may control some things in my life for some time. And sometimes because of that, I think I can control everything in my life for all times. But today I have realized that everything is finally under the control of the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is described as Anumantaha Upadrishtaha. Anumantaha means overseer and Upadrishtaha means permitter. Even if you want to perform something in this world, you need the sanctioning authority of Krishna. It's very important. For devotees, Krishna gives them blessings. For people who don't even believe in Krishna, he sanctions whatever they can do. But it doesn't mean what they do is right or wrong. That is on them. But see the power of control that we think we have, but actually we don't. So Mother Yashoda thought she could bind Krishna, and Krishna would be stuck to the mota. But the moment Mother Yashoda went inside, it was Diwali day. She went inside, she was very busy with Diwali. Krishna decided that I have one more pastime to finish. And he started crawling. As he crawled, the mota turned, and the mota started rolling with him. You've seen that sometimes. Krishna went in between two large trees, and they were not supposed to be coming down. The mota got stuck. But Krishna is not a little boy. He is actually Swayam Bhagavan. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahma himself says in Brahma Samhita, Ishvaraha Parama Krishnaha Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. Krishna is the original. He is the original personality. He is the most ancient. And he is Sarva Karana Karana. He is the cause of all causes. So Krishna looked like a little boy in Vrindavan. But actually he is the Supreme Personality of God. And so he walked between the trees, and the mota pushed the trees down. And from the trees came two very beautiful personalities, Nala Kuvera and Manigriva. They were the sons of Kuver. You all have heard of Kuver, right? Kuver is the superintendent of wealth. And so they were liberated by Krishna because for so long they were actually stuck there because they were cursed or blessed by Narada because they had forgotten the purpose of their life. And Krishna came to liberate them. Now Bhagavatam tells us after that incident, a few boys had witnessed Krishna going through between the trees and how the trees came down. So these boys went to Nanda Maharaj. They went to all the other men in Vrindavan, and they said, this Krishna is very strong, very extraordinary. But Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Maya, they saw Krishna as a little boy. So in their hearts they were thinking, how can Krishna be so strong that he can bring two trees down? It cannot be. It must be the blessings of Vishnu on Krishna. And that is why Krishna was so strong. So like that they were thinking. Now at that point of time, they decided that instead of staying, at that time they were staying in the forest known as Mahavan. And they decided instead of being in Mahavan, they should now move to Vrindavan. And it is at that time that Krishna and all the residents of Mahavan will move to Vrindavan. Because don't forget, before that episode, Kamsa had sent Putana to try and kill Krishna. So they were worried that this forest was attracting demons. And so they thought Vrindavan would be a safer place. Now when they went to Vrindavan, they set up a beautiful village in Vrindavan. And they all settled down. And Bhagavatam tells us something very sweet about Krishna. Daily, right, Mother Yashoda sometimes would have to do a lot of housework. Today we have helpers, but in Vrindavan there were no helpers. They did all the housework themselves. So Bhagavatam tells us sometimes Mother Yashoda had to move some wooden plank. And Krishna was very small, maybe 5 or 6 years old, like many of the children here, right? But sometimes what will happen is Mother Yashoda will say, Krishna, can you help me to remove the plank? She would just say it like that. But she wouldn't realize that Krishna was still a little boy. But Krishna was so loving to his mother that somehow or another he would lift up the plank, despite being a small boy. Somehow he would lift it and he would put it away. Sometimes in the morning, Nanda Maharaj, he would be going to the forest to take care of the cows. So before he would go, he needed his chappal, his slippers. So he would say, Krishna, bring me my slippers. And Krishna would walk all the way to the end of the house, pick up very heavy, these were wooden slippers that he used to wear. He would put it on his head and he would bring it to his father. So Bhagavatam tells us Krishna is actually God. But if we love God in the form of a son, he reciprocates in the form of a child. If you love God as a friend, like Arjuna did to Krishna, Krishna appears as a friend. If you love God as your spiritual master, and in awe and reverence, like Hanumanji prayed to Lord Ram, then he will give you that benediction also. Okay, I give you permission to move. Do you want to move? Do you have to move? Okay, will you move back again? One more time, that's it. So you see, that was Krishna's mood. So Krishna played the part of a little boy perfectly. And this is a very important lesson to us. We all have relationships with Krishna. But over time, we have forgotten our relationship with Krishna. We value our material relationships so much more than we value our spiritual relationships. And yet we don't realize that the source of all our energy, the source of all our strength is actually Krishna. The source of all our intelligence is Krishna. That's why in Bhagavatam, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am remembrance. I am also forgetfulness. Krishna can give us remembrance. He can also make us forget. He did that to Duryodhana. For a while, Duryodhana remembered, and then he forgot. You see? So therefore, Krishna may appear to be very young. He may appear to be a little boy in Vrindavan, but he was very powerful. So one day, Krishna and the boys went to the forest. And there, they were a little bit older now. So they were given the responsibility of taking care of the calves. The baby cows, the calves. So Krishna and the boys would take care of the calves, but they were also mischievous. You know, it's amazing all the children can sit down. Now you see, the children are very good. Children, you're very good. You're like yogis now, you know, you're not moving. So Krishna was not like that at all. When Krishna went to the forest, they would all play. And the cows would also be very happy. The calves would be very happy. One day, Kamsa, he's trying to still find a way to kill Krishna. So he sends this demon known as Vatsasura. Vatsasura came in the disguise of a calf. You know, when you see a calf, you never think of a calf as a demon, isn't it? So if I was a demon and I came as a calf, it'll be a perfect disguise. Because no one would think I look like a demon. This is a very important point in Bhagavatam. Sometimes we may dress up as devotees. But what is more important is our consciousness. Vatsasura looked like a calf. He moved like a calf. He had very good mode of goodness. Putana, if you remember, she disguised herself as a mother, Datri, nurse. She came to give milk to Krishna. She spent months training herself to make herself act so well that no one would think that this nurse was actually a demon. And so when she walked into the home of Yashoda Maya, nobody even thought that this was Putana, because she pretended very well. But Krishna, the moment he saw her, he knew who she was. We can cheat many people in this world that we are devotional, that we are full of bhakti, but in front of the Lord, we cannot do that. We can't. So Vatsasura was a demon. He looked like a calf. But externalities do not attract Krishna. It is the heart that attracts Krishna. That's why Krishna is known as Bhava Grahi Janardana. Bhava Grahi Janardana means one who takes the essence of devotional mentality. That is the key. He takes what is your intent, not what you're doing. Sometimes people can act like devotees, but in their heart they're not. For example, now Prabhu and Mataji, you've so kindly got all of us together. And today we all look very sadhu. But only Krishna knows how we are in our own houses. Only He knows our real lifestyle after we leave this house. Are we really sadhus or are we not sadhus? That we cannot hide before Krishna. We can cheat the world, but you cannot cheat God. And it doesn't matter whether you're Christian, you're Muslim, you come from the Vedic, Sastric background, God is God. Right? And He knows everything. So the moment none of the calves, even the calves did not know that this Asura was actually an Asura. And the boys did not know also. But Krishna and Balaram knew. So you know what they did? They started moving the calves deeper in the forest, but they isolated Vatsasura and they took him to the side. And the moment they took him to the side, Krishna immediately caught the legs of Vatsasura and he started swinging him round and round and round. Krishna looked like a small boy, but don't forget he's God. So he just started swinging this demon. And it is stated in Shastra that he was so powerful that just by swinging him round and round and round, the demon became so confused. And the demon started losing consciousness. And eventually his whole life was gone. And in that simple way, Krishna disposed of Vatsasura. And then Krishna came back to all the calves, he came back to all the boys, and he and Balram behaved as if there was nothing there. Nothing. This is how Krishna protects us. For those of us who have taken shelter of Krishna, is there something going on outside?
More Prabhuji is outside.
Can you tell them to be a bit quiet?
If you want to preach, please.
Because you're distracting other people, right? Yeah. Just be quiet for a while. So what is very important here is that Krishna is always our protector. Please remember that. We may not sometimes even know what is going to come in terms of harm to us. But those who are chanting Krishna's names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you continuously chant Krishna's names, if you continuously try to remember Krishna, if you read about Krishna, if you take Krishna Prasad, if you do anything connected to Krishna, then Krishna's protection is always on us. This is very important. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Chetasaha Sarva Karmani, Mayi Sanyasa Mat Paraha, Buddhi Yoga Mubashritya, Mat Chitta Satatham Bhava. Krishna tells Arjuna, in all situations, in all times, in all activities, you just depend on me. This word depend is so important. When we're growing up, we depend on our parents, correct? When we get a bit older, we think, parents are a bit outdated. Then we depend on our friends and our peers. When we grow older, we get married, husband depends on wife depends on husband. Then we have children depend on us. Then when we get older to a certain point, we'll realize the cycle has come around. We start depending on our children, right? And when we grow very old, we become like children. We're completely dependent on everyone. So nobody in this world can say, I am independent. I don't need anyone. You can say that, but eventually you have to depend on someone. Ultimately, a devotee depends on Krishna. Krishna says, just depend on me. When you depend on someone, what happens? There is automatically protection. So where there is dependence, there is protection. When we depend on Krishna, Krishna automatically will protect us. What does he protect? We may be worried about our body and our health, but body is going to go anyway. Krishna protects our consciousness. Whether we can remember him, whether we are peaceful, whether we are blissful, that state of consciousness is what Krishna actually protects. So as devotees, we don't pray that Krishna, please give me a big house, give me an upgraded flat or an upgraded car, get me a better job. This will come and go according to your karma. Sometimes if your karma is good, it will come. If it doesn't come, you can stand on your head upside down for 10,000 years, you will still not get it. But that is not our consideration. Because happiness doesn't depend on a house. Happiness depends on the consciousness in the house. That's why Prabhu and Mataji, you're so kind to have invited all of us. The house is not important. It is the consciousness that you cultivate in the house. Relationships will always be there. But it is whether you put Krishna in the center of your relationship that will make the difference. Children, before you start your studies or you start your exams, you should remember Krishna before you start. Pray to Krishna. There is a very famous shloka that all our children in our center, they know. Krishna Krishna Mahabaho Bhakta Nama Bhayankaraha Tvam Eko Dhaya Mananam Apavargosi Samskritehe. Arjuna sings this to Krishna in Bhagavatam. He says, Krishna Krishna Mahabaho, you are the mighty armed person. Bhaktanam Abhayankaraha. You are the one who awards fearlessness in the hearts of the devotees. And you are the one who can protect us. So therefore, depend on Krishna. From today, learn to spend more time with Krishna. You cannot depend on someone and ask for protection if you don't spend time with them. You need a relationship with someone before you learn to depend on someone. Therefore, put aside time for Krishna. You know, we have dental appointment, medical appointment, this appointment, that appointment. But our appointment with God is normally the shortest, the quickest, and sorry, we have to get on with life. Thank you very much, Haribol. But when difficulties come, suddenly we become big devotees. We will go to temple, we will do this prayer, that prayer. When everything is done, we apply for leave from bhakti. And we say, Krishna, I'll come back to you the next time some disaster comes. That's not a relationship. That's a transaction. That's what happens when you have some friends. You know, you have some friends who will call you twice a year, 3 times a year. But you know, the moment that phone rings, they pick up the phone, first few minutes, how are you, how are you, how are you? But at the end of the day, they want something from you. That's what we are doing with Krishna. We just run to him when we need something. When we are done with it, thank you very much, see you later. The residents of Vrindavan did not behave that way. They did not. So please, remember always that Krishna's protection is always there. Just like the rain is always pouring. Supposing rain is pouring, you have one ground which is very, very barren, and the other ground is very fertile. The rain is pouring equally on both grounds. But one ground which is fertile, the crops will grow. The other ground which is barren, even tons of rain may come, it will still be barren. Is it the fault of the rain? It's the fault of the ground. If our hearts are fertile to receive Krishna, then we will receive it, because his mercy is always coming. But if our hearts are barren because we think, what is spiritual life? You know, right now I can take care of myself, I'm earning, I've got money in the bank, I've got a car, I've got things to do. When I'm retired, I'll think about Krishna. Then your ground is barren. And if you really think upon retirement you remember Krishna, let me tell you one thing. Conditioning is a powerful tool. If you've conditioned your life to live in 50 years without God, your 51st year, suddenly you can't overnight turn yourself into a sadhu. It doesn't happen. Which is why Krishna consciousness must start young. I'm so happy to see so many children today. You see, they are the future. How will they know about Krishna unless you know about Krishna? Isn't it true? And even if they don't want to accept Krishna immediately, it doesn't matter. Teenagers today are not so interested in Krishna, right? My children were also raised in Krishna consciousness, but it doesn't mean all the time they're Krishna conscious. But they have heard about Krishna. And we must live our life as parents enough to show them that we are trying to remember Krishna. Then one day when they need to, at the right time, they will become Krishna conscious. You sow the seed. 90% of you have come from India. I'm born in Singapore, my parents are born in Singapore, my grandparents are born in Singapore. 3 generations here. But I can tell you that the Vedic culture of India is fast going. If you ask even an Indian from India to recite some important shlokas from Bhagavad Gita and explain them, they find it difficult. You ask a Christian to recite something from the Bible and he will give it to you like that. We have the most amazing Vedic culture, so practical, so on the ground. We have the science of how to work for God right down to the last point, perfect. But we are not interested in the science of God. We're interested in the science of making money, but we're not interested in the science of God. This has to change. And it will not change until we put Krishna in our lives. 5 minutes, put aside your time, 5 minutes for Krishna. Read one shloka of Bhagavad Gita a day. It only takes 10 minutes. Read with your children. I have this book called Krishna Book. It's just normal stories written in simple language. Even children can read it. As parents, when we were young, you can ask, my son Gopal is here, we would just sit down and we would read together. And no matter how old they become, they will never forget these stories. Because the stories of Krishna are so beautiful. And they are so powerful. And they are so meaningful. This is what we have to do. Our parents invested education for us, isn't it? But with all the education in the world, the problems of life like anxiety and challenges have not gone. They're still there. They're still there. So what should be the investment for our generation of children? Give them Krishna. Because if you give them Krishna, wherever they are in the world one day, if they are faced with a difficulty, Chetasaha Sarva Karmani, they will turn to Krishna. And Krishna will give them the intelligence to protect themselves. He will. Tesham satata yuktanam vajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Krishna says in 10:10 of Bhagavad Gita, to those who are devoted to me, who come to me with love, Preeti Purvakam, and devotion, I will give them the intelligence by which they can come to me. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai.
Children, any questions? No? Can I congratulate you? You have been amazing. You are so quiet. Nobody has been sleeping. The children here also. You're all yogis from past life. Very good. And parents, thank you so much. I really appreciate the fact that you're all here. And I want to thank our hosts for being so kind to have us here. Very nice. And of course, we must thank Mamta Mataji, because she is the reason why I'm here, right? It is because of her love and care for all of you and her time that she has invested that we're all here together. Don't take this meeting as accident. This is not an accident. This is arrangement. You're meant to hear all this. There is a reason for it. You want to make this count? Go back and include Krishna in your life. Shall we end by chanting Krishna's names? Shall we? Okay. Children, you ready? Yes. You can sing? Yeah? You all have the loudest voices, Children have the loudest voices, isn't it? So I want you all to chant, okay? Chant very loudly for Krishna. Good. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Children sing. Hare Rama, very good. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hari Bol. Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Children, you can sing. I like the way they naturally clap. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Radha Madan Mohan ki. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Holy name. Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन जी की श्री श्री राधा गोविंद जी की श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ जी की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।